This is Eric Martin, Report Game Geek. I'm here with Eduardo Barrow from
Hello.
Pencil First Games.
That's right.
We're looking at Fantastic Creatures prototype.
Yes, this is
Yes.
a prototype, and it's a mixture of final art, working art, not art.
Things in progress.
Yeah, progress.
Yeah,
working all through-
placeholder.
Placeholder.
All right.
It's all the fun.
Okay. But you can give us an overview of what we are doing with these creatures.
Absolutely.
Are we the creatures themselves?
We are not the creatures themselves.
Okay.
We are wizards.
I want it to be this. There's like an odd jellyfish type creature.
There's
it
all
looks
sorts of
I'm not
creatures.
sure
You're-
what that was.
Been going through and playing with different awesome meeples, but
Okay.
you are playing as a wizard. Actually, we're sort of wizard apprentices, and we are looking to be the wizard of the realm. And we
Okay.
do that by, it's essentially like whichever wizard can score the most victory or drive through the different realms the best becomes the champion of the
Okay.
trials and the
As you
lead
were
wizard.
Directing these creatures.
Yeah.
Clearly, you have magical powers
Yeah.
to.
You have spells,
Okay.
we all have creatures, and we can draft new creatures from the vast expanse as we go.
Okay.
And so the game, in essence, and this is actually designed by Christopher Ham, who did Strife, if you're familiar with that game. It's an awesome game. But what you're going to be doing is every player starts with the same 12 creatures.
Okay.
4 essentially from each realm: water, air, earth, and fire.
Okay.
And you got Hippogriff, Centaur, Griffin, Woogle, Unicorn, Djinn, all sorts of fun, fantastic creatures, Jabberwock. And you're going to shuffle them all up. And to start, we're going to each, I don't have my day marker, but we're going to play a total of 3 days.
Okay.
And it's sort of like a dog race, snow sled race, where we have morning, afternoon, evening. We play those 3 phases. The day goes by, we reset, and then whoever can get the furthest in 3 days is the winner.
Okay.
So on your turn, though, you're going to select or draw 4 creatures, and everyone's going to do this. Mm-hmm. And again, we start with the same starting sort of combination, but it's all shuffled up, so we're going to get different sets. And what you're going to be doing is essentially you're programming how your creatures, in what order your creatures are going to go.
Okay.
But 3 of them are going to be placed down in front of you, much like you would in a programming game, where left to right. And 1 is going to be going towards the end of day expedition. So
Okay.
there are a number of locations we're going to be working towards at the end of the day. And so each round, we're going to send one of your guys off to do that.
Okay.
And each creature card has magic, the element they're in, and the ability.
Okay.
And so as far as the expedition is concerned, it's really just about the overall magic of the creatures. So without thinking about the game too much, you might say, well, this guy's a 4, I'm going to send him away so that at the end we add it all up and whoever's got the highest score is going to get the first choice for the
Right.
tempest. Otherwise, what you're going to be doing is you're setting up your cards, and then on your turn, you get to decide whether you want to take their magic points or use their ability.
Okay.
And the game's really freeform, where different creatures give you different abilities that you can leverage on the guy in front of him or behind him. And so how you're sort of mixing and matching the creatures in the order you're putting them in is going to impact how many resources you get to use.
Okay.
And you use your resources to move down these tracks. And so red, I might spend, I'm in the blue track here, water, 1 water and 2 magic to move up the track, moving up the track. Furthest I am, the most points I'm going to get.
Right.
As you move up tracks, you also can get the gift of that track. So really, it's this tug, push, pull on how am I combining my creatures to move down the track and to stay ahead of other people or stay behind and leverage and move forward. So it's this push-pull type of dynamic as you're using the creature abilities.
As you're getting the bonuses here, and then there are additional creatures.
Right. So on your
they
turn,
come in.
on your turn, you can decide if you want to trade it. It's sort of like drafting, but it's a lighter weight drafting where I can say, you know what, I'm not going to use the Cyclops. Instead, I'm going to use the Dragon. And once I make this guy's essentially discarded.
Okay.
And
Well,
this
what
is now.
do you want with this or a
Well,
Cyclops here?
they all have their benefits, but you
Okay.
start customizing your deck as you go. But then as you play, you're reshuffling every day, and then the creatures you've brought in are part of your 12. So you never have more cards than you would
Right.
normally, but you're getting a different combination. So people are
Those
pushing.
12 scattered over the 3 sections of the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yep.
And so since you're playing 4, around, by the end you will have played all of them once.
Yes.
Players also have 2 other things going on. Every player gets a spell, Amplify, which doubles the ability of a creature, Mind Link, that says if you, and it's 2 to 4 players, or any other player does something good, I get some benefit from it.
Okay.
And Shadow Step, which lets a creature, if a creature comes level with another one, they bump ahead.
Okay.
These you can only use once a day. So you don't get them. You can't use them as much as creatures and creatures ability, but they're powerful and you get to use them. And then there are the amulets. Each amulet has a different benefit. Every player always has one. This one gives you expedition points to help with your expedition. Amulet of the Master breaks ties, which is highly valuable. You have that power amulet, which gives you magic points, and you have the elements, which gives you orbs or sort of realm points.
Okay.
But the way the game works is, since we're generating essentially victory points, at any given time, if I want to use somebody else's, I can sort of say, hey, I want to use yours, pay them a victory point or a realm token, and swap.
Okay.
So, you know, Pencil First Games has, as a brand with Herbaceous and Heroes of Tricks and all the different titles we've done, it's all family-friendly play, but it's sort of been in that 45-minute zone or less, 20 with Herbaceous. This is a step more complicated. This is in that hour 15 play zone, but what's really fantastic about Fantastic Creatures is every turn, every round, you feel like you're making interesting and meaningful decisions, all of which create progress. Now, players will do it better and create more progress,
Right.
but it really has a nice sense of like, oh, I just used the Griffin to get me, you know, a little further here, which gave me the air token, and then I could turn it around and use it with my, you know, with my Minotaur. So it's got a nice sort of dynamic play every turn, which really helps it stand out.
Okay. Especially too, sort of the magic of having that small set of cards each time. You know they're coming,
Yeah.
and you figure out how to work them together.
And Chris has a fantastic, you know, from Strife and Magic, he's got this great sort of creature ability balance feel where he really knows how to create nice combo and effective maneuvers with the abilities and the choices you make. So you really, I mean, again, you only have 4 cards, but it's programming like, but you're not just saying like, I'm going to move forward and then right and then attack. You really like, no, if I put this guy first, that's going to let me do this. And you have that nice decision making every set, including which you're going to sort of set aside for the end.
Right.
And it works a lot. And you know, you determine initiative by the highest magic points of the first creature. So even that adds to that sort of decision flow.
Okay. Because yes, you are racing for different, sort of up the tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
To do different things. Okay. All right. What's the planned release date, or how is the
So
development going here?
this is a prototype that I'd say is probably, you know, a month and a half old. I would say we're looking to be on Kickstarter probably end of summer, maybe mid to late summer, depending on how everything goes. Really, it's important to make sure the game's in fantastic shape once you get it to Kickstarter. So we're going through a lot of revision.
Yeah, you notice when you still have the black marker through here, you're like, okay, this is still hard in the work here.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
trying to figure out everything.
Yeah, but it's really in that make it great refinement phase.
I mean, that is definitely, you have that freedom of like, no, this is right. We got to do this. We got to do.
It's the best
There's
time.
Lots
It's
of little
awesome.
things to adjust to get it where you want it to be.
And little things like, again, you know, we actually posted on Facebook, and we're getting a lot of feedback on different meeples, and we did the creatures and the emblems and stuff like that. So did a ton of samples, got like bags more, and figuring out what's the best shape and size and the creature to use. So lots of little fun pieces. But overall, you know, you're looking at stretch goals and things like that. But overall, it's coming along, and it's chunky fun. It really holds up when you're, you know, again, I'm always sensitive when a game starts getting long. I mean, I know a lot of players like longer games, but I try to keep in that family game night type.
There's a lot of variety in what people like.
Yeah, but this does a great job of keeping that every turn is interesting, and you always have the ability to sort of catch up and move around, and so it's got a really good pace to it as it goes through the game.
Right. All right. Well, thanks very much for the overview. Fantastic Creatures coming from Pencil First Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.